Hi, welcome to Yoga with Kate. I'm Kate, and today we're coming to you from the historic train depot and museum in beautiful Santa Susana, California.
Hi everyone. Today I'm going to take you through a deep stretch practice focusing on all areas of the body. You don't need any props for this practice, and we're going to begin by sitting on our heels. Let's just take a moment. Feel the ground beneath us, supporting us as we sit straight, lift up through our spine. We're going to reach our hands up to the sky as we take a big, deep breath in. And we'll begin by twisting to the left. So your left arm stretches out before you, your right arm stretches in the opposite direction. As you breathe in, you're going to twist in the opposite direction. Left arm forward, right arm back. Move through a couple of these with your breath. Deep breath at the top, arms spread out wide. Really like you're stretching to the back parts of the room. Stretch as deep as you can as we twist our body. Gently twist and get ready for our deep stretch practice. We'll do one more deep breath at the top. Bring your hands to your heart, and we're going to move into some cat-cow poses. So hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. We're going to begin by dropping the belly, face up to the sky, tilt your tailbone up. The next move is going to be dropping your head and really rounding your back, pushing through that spine. We're going to do one more cow pose. Tilt your head up, belly low, tailbone tilted up. As we breathe out, round our back, really let your head be heavy. We're going to come back into neutral position, and we're going to wag the dog's tail a couple of times. So we're wagging our tail. And I really like this stretch because it gets into some areas of the back that sometimes maybe feel a little stiffer. So we're going to wag our dog's tail to the left, and at the same time look over our left shoulder like you're trying to see your tail. So you're a dog and you're trying to catch your tail. Let's do that a couple of times as we really stretch through our side body. Before we come back to neutral position, walk our hands a few inches forward, and we're going to come into our first downward dog. Now, there's no pressure here to get your heels to the ground, but we're going to begin by just pedaling our feet, really stretching out those calves. And we're going to get deeper in the groin here as we reach our right leg up to the sky. Open that hip. We're going to you're tilting your hips one on top of the other. As you bend your knee, really try to point that knee up to the sky. And then we're going to step that hand right behind the right wrist. So not all the way through. You're landing right behind the right wrist. And we're going to go into a hip stretch here. And you're going to tilt those toes out toward the long edge of your mat. And you're going to come on to the outside of that left foot. And go ahead and reach that hand up to the sky as you're pushing into your left hand that's on the mat. Reach your right hand up and overhead. Really push into your feet, push into your hand, stretch the right hand up over your head. Try and push those hips a little bit higher. Let's windmill that right hand down. Come back into plank pose, and we're going to do that same motion on the other side. So let's go ahead into our downward dog. Now remember here, it's not imperative that you get your heels to the ground. Wherever you're at in your downward dog today is just wonderful, and you're going to get benefit from this stretch. Let's move to the left side as we plant the right foot. Left heel goes straight up. You're going to stack your hips, and then you're going to bend that knee, open up your groin muscles, really kick that knee to the sky as high as you can. And then we're going to step that left leg forward to be right behind our left wrist. We're going to tilt both toes out toward the long edge of the mat as we push ourselves up onto the right hand. Really push into your hand, push into your feet as you push your hips even higher, take that left hand up and over your ear. So you're going to feel stretch all down the left side of your body. And maybe you can look up to the sky, take a deep breath in. Before we windmill that left hand down, and we're going to come back into first plank and then downward facing dog. So again, in our downward dog, a good way to get the most out of this position is to bend your knees a little bit, tilt your hips up to the sky, and then straighten out your legs after you do that. So we're going to go high once again with that right leg. Open up that hip by bending your knee. And we are going to pull that knee to our nose and step all the way through. And even if you need to give your leg a little help, it's all good. Put your back foot on an angle so that we come up into our warrior one. So you want to make sure that knee is pressed out. Make sure you have eyes on your big toe. That's how you know that knee is wide enough. We're going to transition here into warrior two as our hands go to the front and to the back. Really dig deep here and sink into that pose a little bit. We're going to take our left hand down to our thigh, right hand for a reverse warrior. Again, feel that stretch in the right ribs. And then we're going to straighten our right leg, bring those back toes in a couple of inches, and we're going to go into triangle pose. With triangle pose, you really want to kick that hip out behind you as you reach forward and tilt over. Anywhere your hand lands on your leg is fine. You're feeling that stretch up the back of the right. That feels so good. Pretend that your back is up against a wall, so you feel like your back is straight as you just stay in this pose for a moment before bending into that right knee. Windmill your hands down, and we're going to go back into downward facing dog. Three-legged dog. Let's get that right leg up, bring it down, and we're going to do that same motion on the other side. So keep that left leg up, bend your knee, stack those hips, really open up that leg before we take that knee to our nose and step it between your hands. And again, if you have to help your ankle, please do so. Angle your back foot as we come up into warrior one. We are warriors. This is a strong and active pose. As you push into that back foot, open up that that left knee so you can see your left big toe, and just stay here for a big breath. That was a train that we heard go by just a few moments ago. We're filming right by the train tracks at the Santa Susana Train Depot and Museum today in beautiful Southern California. Let's open up into warrior two. Left hand forward, right arm back. Your gaze is soft over your left fingertips, pressing into that back leg. Sink a little deeper. This is a very active pose. We're going to reverse this warrior. Right arm down, left arm up. Sink just as low as you can into this pose. Come back into warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Bring your back feet in just a couple of inches before we tilt into triangle pose. So again, pretend your back is up against a wall so you can get it just as straight as possible. As your one arm lifts high to the sky and the other is just as far down on your leg as you care to go. We're going to windmill that right arm down. We're going to kick that left leg up into a three-legged dog before we bring it down to the ground one more time. So now we're going to do a deep stretch on our hips. We're going to go into that pigeon pose. Let's bring our right leg up. Bend your knee one more time. I like to also look under my right armpit. Really feel that stretch as you push that knee to the sky.
And let's bring that knee up behind, once again, our right wrist as we bring ourselves into a pigeon pose. So you can stay high, square your hips. You can stay up here in your pigeon pose, or you can bring it down to the ground for 3 deep breaths. Really relax into this for 3 breaths. It's such a relaxing pose. We're going to push ourselves slowly up out of this position. We're going to bring that right leg back into plank pose. Pause here for just a moment as we lower back into downward dog. Lift that left leg to the sky one more time. Bend that knee. We're going to bring that knee up behind your left wrist. Place your leg down and work yourself into your pigeon pose. This is wonderful in itself right here. Square your hips to the ground. You can stay high or lower yourself for a deeper stretch. And let's take 3 breaths on the ground. Close your eyes. Really relax into this pose. Truly, wherever you are in your flexibility today, whatever you're able to bring to the mat, you know your body. You know how much you can push yourself. You know how deep you can go. We're only getting stronger. We're getting more flexible. We're taking care of ourselves. Another deep breath. Before we push ourselves back up on our hands, kick that left leg back into a plank pose. And I love a good plank pose, so we're going to stay here for a count of 3, 2, 1, before we put our knees down on the mat and push yourself back into a glorious child's pose. You can keep your knees together. You can spread them wide as you want, toes together, hips down on your heels, and we're going to stretch forward for a really delicious stretch to end our practice today. Take 3 deep breaths. On your last breath, come on back up and get yourself in any comfortable seated position. We can end up cross-legged, you can be on your knees, whatever's comfortable for you. Place your hands on your knees as we just take a couple of deep breaths in. Really feel the results of that practice. Hopefully you're a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more stretched out. Thank you for joining me on the mat today. I hope you enjoyed it. Click the button to subscribe, like my videos, and come back for more. We'll see you soon.